Well, I don't know if he just doesn't seem like they know what they're doing.
Right. Yeah.
It's not a question. I don't even think it's a question of fear. It's a question of respect, and it's a question of being smart.
Great to see you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Greg.
Thank you for having me.
But I can tell you the country has never been more unsafe. We have people pouring in through our southern border, which everyone's forgetting about right now because of the travesty of Afghanistan. And if you look at the people coming in by the hundreds, by the thousands, and these are not the people necessarily that wanted the protection.
Right.
These are people. So are they terrorists? How many terrorists are coming in? And they were aggressive, very aggressive at the plane, and they pushed their ways, their way onto the plane. I really believe it's gross incompetence. And the only thing good for them about Afghanistan is it makes what they're doing on the border look good, because that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. We don't want a wall. We don't want this. We'll just let people come through. It's a disaster. The borders it was the safest border we've ever had, and now it's the worst. But when you think that they moved the military out first, think of this, because we had a great plan. Even Biden, I think he made a mistake when they did it. They were all screaming at him. But when he said that since President Trump, or he calls it the past administration, signed the deal, not one soldier was shot at or killed. Think of that. You know why? Because they knew the consequences. And our conditions were tough. And then they came in and they just moved out. Who would move out the military first? The military goes last and safely. And sadly, those 13 great soldiers and 200 people, 200 people, more than 200 people were killed, and a lot of people are badly injured, really badly injured. It wouldn't have happened. But to leave $85 billion worth of equipment, he just doesn't seem like they know what they're doing.
Right. Yeah.
It's not a question. I don't even think it's a question of fear. It's a question of respect, and it's a question of being smart. Okay, so I told you about Abdul. So he's tough. And when I first spoke to him by phone, I said, "Nice to speak to you by phone, Abdul." And he goes, "Ah." They're ferocious people. Like you go to Broadway shows, they fight. They like to fight. They've been fighting for about 1,000 years.
I hate Broadway.
By the way, I say that you do. I like it, actually. It's very interesting, and I've been saying it for a long time. Our country, the worst decision ever made was going into the quicksand, which is called the Middle East.
Right.
$2 trillion and millions of lives, because I like to count both sides, okay?
Right.
Millions of lives, and the place has been obliterated. And it's more dangerous now, if you think about it. I had them in check. I wiped out ISIS. You know who I took out? I took out the leaders, the biggest people, bigger than anybody. Nobody even believes what I did. I rebuilt the military.
Yes.
All that beautiful stuff, that brand new stuff. And you know who has it now? The Taliban. I built it for the Taliban.
Exactly.
It wasn't supposed to happen. And now we see these beautiful, perfect, brand new rifles, and these guys are carrying two, and they're wearing our uniforms.
I know.
For them to fly around Apache helicopters. So this is the greatest war machine outside of the submarine. This is the greatest war machine there is, the Apache.
Right.
They're very, very, tens of millions of dollars. They have 28 of them.
Yes.
That's more than any other country in the world has, except for us. We can't have guns, but the Taliban, they can have 27 each. I've been calling Ghani a crook for a long time.
And he left with how much money?
He walked away with $200 million. In fact, he couldn't get it all into the helicopter. They left a lot of it on the runway. Do you think some people at the airport were happy?
It just kills me.
And you don't even hear that story. You don't even hear that story.
No, you don't.
And you don't hear that much about Afghanistan anymore. I watch the evening news, and they talk about everything they can, but they don't like to talk about Afghanistan. Somebody said, what was the toughest president? A friend of mine, very, very successful guy, used to call me Don, Donnie, Donald. Now he said, Mr. President, you lose all your friends because you're president. They're all afraid to talk to you, okay? Mr. President, could I ask you one question? What's the toughest, who was the toughest to deal with? Was it China? Could it be Putin in Russia? What about North Korea, Kim Jong-un? I said, well, the toughest actually was the United States, dealing with these maniacs that we have over here, with Pelosi and Schumer and all of them. That was probably the toughest, far tougher than a lot of world leaders.